If you're thinking about making the move to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and you want to know what the market is like, what to expect for the rest of 2024, then you're going to want to watch this video. In this video, I'm going to show you what the Tulsa market looks like along with our most popular suburbs, Jenks Oklahoma, Broken Arrow, and Bixby. Headlines do so much to terrify, and I really want to take the data and clarify things for you. So when you're making that choice to make the move, you will really be educated and you can make decisions, based on data and what's actually going on in the market instead of the terrifying headlines. I'm Sabrina Shaw. I am your local real estate agent here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I make these videos for you so that if you're thinking about making that move, whether it's this weekend, 9 days, 90 days, 9 months, you give me a call and me or someone from my team would love to connect with you, figure out your unique situation, and help you make that seamless move to Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right, let's get in the computer and dive into the data. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I am taking national data and then I'm going to bring up our local Tulsa data and talk to you and show, our local market compared to what's happening nationally. So much misinformation. I really want you guys to know about home prices, what you need to know about home prices. In the past few years, we had historical low interest rates. We had historical affordability. Then the past 2 years, interest rates skyrocketed. Home price appreciation has skyrocketed. The Feds have still been fighting inflation, and what we've expected is for interest rates to go down. They still can't quite get a handle on inflation, so interest rates are holding tight. And what we're seeing for the rest of the year is pretty much interest rates might tick down a little bit in September, if they do, but probably not too much. So we're probably looking at our interest rates, staying the same. What is happening right now is based on, news and misinformation. You've got buyers that are waiting to time the market, just sitting on the sidelines and, waiting for interest rates to go down. So let's really just talk about what that means. Again, affordability is the most difficult that it's been in 40 years. It's a hard pill to swallow. I have 3 sons that are, close to the home buying age, and, they're really questioning things. But my advice to them is still to get themselves ready to buy a home. Definitely, because I completely believe in the power of home ownership, and that is how I am guiding my sons. So affordability hasn't been this low for 40 years. And one thing that is true but drives me a little crazy is when people talk about the interest rates in the 7s, they compare and say, yeah, but there's been interest rates at 12%, 15% higher at some points, so the interest rate historically isn't so high. Well, yes, that's true, but also we had so much home price appreciation that homes have never been this high. So that combination of the high prices of homes with the interest rates going up has made affordability so hard, and it's just lowered the buying power of people that have to get a mortgage. In fact, and this shows you that. So this is, from 2012, so home prices have continued to increase, but as interest rates have gone up, affordability has gone down. So home prices still high, interest rates low. This is where our affordability is right now, which hurts. And that has priced some people out of the market, unfortunately. And then some people, again, are choosing to wait on the sidelines. So let's look at what housing has actually done year over year in this year. And then I'll show you what it's done here in Tulsa. So this is nationally. Federal Housing Finance Agency has said the market has appreciated as an average 7%. CoreLogic calculates it another way. They have 5.5%, and S&P Schiller has 6.4%. So appreciation and still above normal appreciation. And when you look at this, the top 20 cities are showing appreciation with an average of 6.4%. Now let's compare that to our local area. I only have 4 areas available. So I'm going to show you Tulsa in a second. These are our top surrounding suburbs. I have 12 months year over year. So Bixby at 5.7%, Broken Arrow at 4.1%, Jenks at 4.5%. Okay, so for home price appreciation, 12 months year over year, Bixby at 5.5%, Broken Arrow at 4.9%, Jenks at 6.3%, and Owasso at 9.4%. And let me put in Tulsa. The entire MLS is 3.1%, but that is so many counties. Plenty of counties that I don't work in, so I'm just talking about Tulsa and the surrounding suburbs. Tulsa at 2.1%. So appreciation in Tulsa and the top surrounding suburbs. This is the percent change in home values month over month, and it is seasonally adjusted. So what I want you to look at here is, this is just a very good example of how podcasters, people in the media will say that houses are depreciating. So if you take August to September, for that month, homes had appreciated 0.9%. These are two different entities. And so it says 0.8, and then in September gone down to 0.7. Okay, so that's not depreciation. It's not as high as depreciation. That's called decelerization. It can make it look like home prices are going down, but that's what happens seasonally. Historically, seasonally, we see this. We see the lower appreciation in the winter months. But again, it's not depreciation. You do have slight depreciation here, but again, when you're averaging those out as a whole, we've got continued appreciation, but the headlines can make it look like there's depreciation. But look, prices are rising in every region. This is month over month, so our highest is New England at 3%, and we've got an average of 1.2%. So still strong appreciation, not runaway appreciation, which is good, but strong. And this is Lauren Chen, the chief economist of NAR. This is so important to know. Greater than 90% of the country's metro areas are experiencing home price growth despite facing the highest mortgage rates in 2 decades. And that, my friends, is so telling, because even with the lowest affordability in 2 decades, think about that, even with the lowest affordability that we've had in 40 years, highest interest rates in 2 decades, and home prices are still appreciating. And we know that there is pent-up buyer demand for people that are waiting on the sidelines. That concerns me for the people waiting on the sidelines. If you're ready, willing, and able to buy, and you're only on the sidelines because of interest rates, I think when they come down, when they get down in the 6s, especially if they, ever get down in the 5s, and that could be a year from now, a year and a half from now, I think the market, you have all these people waiting. So then it's just going to bring that supply and demand back in harder, where you're back into the multiple offers. Now is a really great time to buy. Again, if you're ready, willing, and able, and the only thing that's stopping you is interest rates, because even though mathematically it is a seller's market, it's an interesting buyer-seller's market in a lot of price ranges. Now, there are still some price ranges that are getting multiple offers, that are getting above list price. There is definitely some competition in certain areas and certain price ranges. But you look at those houses with days on market that are higher, we are really getting some great seller concessions, which is a wonderful thing for a buyer. And, builders are offering great incentives, some builders. And on new construction, it is so important to have a local advisor. You want to know the builders and how that process is going to go for you. I do have a list of builders that I recommend. So if you're interested in new construction, if you're interested in moving to Tulsa at all, I want you to reach out to me. But definitely, I I'd like to advise you on, the builders that you choose. Prices rising, the home appreciation, that is a direct result of supply and demand. So there are still not enough houses for the amount of buyers. And that is because after the crash of 2008, home building went down like crazy. So housing just did not keep up with the supply. And so we're still feeling that. So with the continued imbalance between supply and demand, that's what's holding up prices. Well, this is one of the things that I want to show you. The experts that I follow, this is their home price appreciation forecast for the rest of 2024. So we've got Freddie Mac at 0.5% to Goldman Sachs at 5%, with an average of all of those at 3.1%. 3.1% is a historical average appreciation. It's what we've seen the market do minus the unicorn years that we had. But I want to show you, and with what's been happening, because everyone has projected that, projections have been all over the place. I mean, look at this. In November, this is what those experts were forecasting on appreciation, and they have every one of them except Freddie Mac has increased what they think appreciation is going to be. I don't know why Freddie Mac decided to what changed their forecast, but all of these have increased and gone up because of what the housing market is doing. If you were just watching the news, you probably don't feel this way. You still feel like there's going to be a market crash. Now, let me tell you, there's also a big difference in commercial real estate and housing, residential real estate, and we are talking about residential real estate right here. Now, this is powerful. This is why I tell my children, my sons, that I want them to buy houses. I want them to be ready. There's a huge difference in net worth between renters and homeowners. And a big part of that is your forced savings account that you have because of home price appreciation. So based on, the home price expectation survey, which is made of, like 100 experts, what was predicted and the average of that are these numbers right here, nationwide, and each market is local. So these numbers are an average, but a very good average. You're going to have, plus or minus based on, where you're at. Real estate is so very local. But this is a good, solid appreciation number for 2024 through 2028. So what I want to show you is if you bought a house at $400,000 in 2024, and you're in there 5 years through 2029, and you have that appreciation at 2029, you have $8,300,000 in equity if the market has appreciated by this much, which is what experts are projecting. If you have just rented, you have lost that equity. You might have been out a little bit cheaper, possibly, but you do not have this equity. So in 5 years, and I think that's something, people are realizing is, and especially new homeowners, first-time homeowners, you might not get into your first house that you completely love, but, sacrifice a little bit, take that appreciation and then use that to move up to your next house in 5 years, when you're earning more, when things have changed. But that is just so powerful and what home ownership does for people as far as, that wealth building through that forced savings account. And I think that there is a push that I do not love at all and I do not agree with, of being happy not owning something. And of course, I believe you should be happy in anything. We have so much abundance in life. I won't go off on that soapbox, but there's, we have so many things to be happy and grateful for. But I think that the message that home ownership shouldn't be part of the American dream, I disagree with that. And yes, selling homes is part of my livelihood, but passionately, I disagree because of what home ownership can do, for you, for a family, for a generation, what home means. But sorry, I won't go into that. And then if we're talking about renting, let's look at how rents have increased. Now, this is from 1960, but we've seen rents increase like crazy too. So that is not a fixed amount. Yes, taxes and insurance can go up, which isn't fixed, but your mortgage payment and interest will always be the same. Okay, I love this quote that Dave Ramsey said: when getting help with money, whether that is insurance, real estate, or investments, you should always look for the person with the heart of a teacher. And, prior to real estate, I was an elementary teacher, I was a junior high teacher, I was a high school principal, I was assistant superintendent. And so I completely love to educate, and I geek out on the stats, and, I had the heart of the teacher. So I do these for you guys just because I want you to make choices out of being educated and seeing the data, as opposed to, making choices out of fear because of what you see in the headlines. And even me, knowing everything I know, sometimes, my husband will have the news on or something, and they'll make some kind of housing thing. And I'm like, what's going on? And it sounds scary and it sounds totally believable. But when you break it apart and dive in, it's not accurate. Okay, so let's go back to our Tulsa market. And we see that there has been home price appreciation. Things have changed. The market's softened. When we go to percent of original price, that's down. We're not showing 100%. Now, this is an average. So again, let me reiterate that in certain price points, they're getting 100%. They're getting above asking on offers. But we are seeing that soften on percent to list price. And that's, that can deal with the pricing too. But so for example, in Broken Arrow, you're basically at 98%. So you take a $500,000 house, 98% would be a $10,000 discount, $10,000 in seller concessions or $10,000 off the price. Now, are we seeing more than that in certain instances? Yes, absolutely. I mean, on some, there are definitely concessions deals to be had. Another thing that I like to look at is price per square foot. And again, that is just because instead of going off, the average price house, it's going off the average price square footage. And that has appreciated too. And that has been the same, basically across the board. Owasso a little bit higher, but in that 4%, 5% range. And Tulsa actually 5%. Which is interesting because we saw that Tulsa's appreciation was only at 2%, in the past 12 months, year over year. But as price per square foot has gone, it's increased by 5%. And, that's simply the cost of the housing in sales price versus mathematically, I was telling you that it is a seller's market. A seller's market is anything below, 4 to 5 months of inventory. So they say a balanced market is between 5 and 6 months, and some people say between 4 to 6 months. And a buyer's market is anything 6 months and above, and a seller's market is 4 months and below. And so you can see numerically, we're at the highest 2.5 months of inventory seller's market. But again, just because of how much things have changed, even though we're mathematically in a seller's market, we are still seeing buyer concessions, especially when a house has been on the market for a while. Great incentives with some builders for new construction. You save money on utilities because your homes are more energy efficient. So there's a balancing out. In new construction, you're going to pay, more per square foot than you are in pre-existing. Again, you're going to have the cheaper homeowners insurance. You're going to have the cheaper utilities. Okay, so how far can your dollar stretch in Tulsa, Oklahoma? What I'm going to do is Tulsa County, because all these homes are Tulsa County. Like I said, 289,000. Okay, so the average price home in Tulsa County is 289,000. We've got this one in Broken Arrow, 2,400 square feet. Over 1/4 of an acre. You have this one in Sand Springs, 1,900 square feet. This one in Sand Springs. It's been updated, 2,300 square feet. This one in Tulsa, smaller, 1,600 square feet, but you're in Midtown. Tulsa has older homes, not a lot of new construction. Your Midtown area is going to be, it's very desirable. People love living in Midtown. People also love living in Jenks. They love living in Bixby, Owasso, Broken Arrow. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,300 square feet. So these are just examples of what you can get for the average home price of $289,000. All right, let's move that price range up to $500,000. See what you can get for, $500,000. That is strictly based on land, so I'm not going to show that. 3,300 square feet, $500,000. I think $500,000 price point in Tulsa really shines. You can get, a pretty great house in that price range. I'm not going to go through all the pictures. 3,400 square feet. Nice homes. $3,100 square feet, half acre. OSU, that is where my youngest just graduated from, and my other son is there on track. 2.67 acres in Owasso, older home, but getting some acreage. And the farther out you go from Tulsa, cheaper land is, the more inexpensive land is. And even in the surrounding suburbs, you're going to be paying more. But we can go a little bit further out if you're interested in land. Okay, Owasso. And Midtown Tulsa. And again, in Midtown, you are paying for the location. All right, let's go up a little higher. Let's go and show you what we have at $750. Only one. Of course, I'm not doing a range. Over half an acre. Beautiful property in a lovely, lovely neighborhood. So funny. I was actually talking to one of my real estate friends who works in Utah and Colorado, and she got her license here. And this is one of the houses that she was looking at to buy. She absolutely loves what you can get in the Tulsa area, the lifestyle of Tulsa and all that. Let's go to $1 million, 4,600 square feet, half acre. Beautiful home, and our $1 million plus homes, can be spectacular. This is Bixby Fraser Lakes. Lovely neighborhood. Very, you have that country feel and so close to the city. So beautiful homes. All right. I hope that this video is helpful. There's so much that we can dive into and delve in our local Tulsa market. Again, if you're thinking about making that move, whether it's this weekend, 9 days, 90 days, 9 months from now, it's never too early and it's never too late to reach out to me. I would love to talk to you. And I would love for me or someone on my team to show you around Tulsa.